I'd like to invite Lorraine Dale from UK Housekeepers Association to join us today and talk to us about a housekeeper's view on our industry, the laundry industry. So Lorraine, please go.
So good afternoon and welcome to the CleanEx show. My name is Lorraine Dale and I'm the National Chair of the Housekeeping Association and I'm also the Chairperson for the London and South East region. Do I need to tell all of you all about the Housekeeping Association and all the wonderful things we're currently doing? Obviously all of our events we have, as well as our working and our involvement with housekeeping today. And so if anyone that hasn't picked up a magazine, please make sure you pick that up today as well. And also our Shared Knowledge Day, which we recently had, where we had our own trade show with lots of seminars and also mini workshops, which was aimed really at our housekeepers and our deputy housekeepers as well, which was really a really well-attended event, along with our new launch of our new website, which will be really exciting, which hopefully should be launched properly in June of this year, although, and it will be very interactive for all of our associates and also all of our housekeepers. So why do we need groups like the Housekeeping Association? For me, really, it's a way of networking, it's a way of meeting people, and it's also a way of helping people in our like-minded capacities to share challenges and work out issues, as well as making friends and also learning about new trends within the marketplace, which I think is really important, especially if you look around at what's happening today in this event and how technology's moved on, and I'll talk that through as we go through the presentation. And what does a housekeeper actually want from a laundry? Obviously, being the housekeeper at Windsor Castle, what I want from a laundry is probably very different to what a hotel housekeeper wants. I struggled with trying to think about, was I so different to a hotel housekeeper? But actually, I think I really want the same things because I want clear and honest communication. So if a machine's broken down, I want to know about it. I also want to be informed if there's any abuse of my linen. And that isn't just about the laundry abusing the linen, it's also sometimes staff abuse the linen or the guests themselves with cleaning shoes, etc. So I needed to be kept aware of that. And also to make sure that it's all value for money, that we're getting value for money on both sides so it works for both businesses, both for myself and for the launderer. And also to get a consistent service as well. That's a set delivery driver. That really helps. It means a lot if the delivery driver knows where he's going, at what time he's due in as well. And also to be aware of new trends and new incentives, etc., within the marketplace. And that's quite apparent as I walked around the event this afternoon, looking at how technology has moved on. Obviously, over the last 25 years, it's dramatically changed. The future of the laundry for all of us, we've talked about new washing machines that use the polymer beads, the linen tag, which we've just had a presentation on, which is really interesting, not just from a hotel and a housekeeper's point of view, but also from the laundry company that is inputting all the laundry. The reduction of water, which I think is really important, as well as the increased impact of technology with the drying and washing side of things. I think that has for a housekeeper's point of view, that really means that we're all moving with the times as well. I also understand that there was an app being launched today about a dry cleaning app, which I thought was really interesting. And when I was searching on the internet for different things, I came across this. And apparently we're going to have an app that will help do our laundry at home. Not completely relevant to the castle or to a hotel, but I thought that was quite interesting that I could set my washing while I'm at work. Thought you might be quite interested in that part. That's instead of you doing it exactly. Hygiene means health. Well, what does hygiene and what does that mean to all of us? And actually, it's really interesting how closely the launderers and the hotel housekeepers and myself really work together. So that's making sure that we protect people and that making sure that when we're looking at our cleaning equipment, that we're sanitising, that we're using the right detergents, and that we're also ensuring that we're not a cost centre, that we actually are playing a part in saving people's lives with cross-contamination, etc. And if you see on this diagram as well, that you can see the part that when I broke it down, we looked at the stains, so the linen, the toweling, the bed skirting, etc., alongside things that probably most people think and think about dirt when they're looking at remote controls. I'm sure people don't realise how dirty remote controls can get, the buttons to the lifts, etc., and how dirty they can go. Generally, you think dirt and bacteria around toilet seats and sinks, but actually in all of those areas, they're breeding all the time. And I'm going to go and show you some technology on how they're dealing with that. So some of the systems to avoid this, it's this system here is when you swipe this machine over your sink, it actually gives you a reading on the bacteria levels within the sink. And so it's actually interesting. When you've then cleaned the sink, you can see, are your detergents working properly? So that's something that some hotels are actually doing this when they're using in their audit systems, which helps prove when they're showing, they don't usually show this to guests, but when they're overall, as a brand, it's something that they can put their name by as well. And also looking how things have changed over the last sort of 20 to 30 years with cross-contamination. Instead of the long sticky mops, we're now using the iMop. We're using different types of machinery to avoid cross-contamination and making sure not only are we stopping the bacteria moving, but we're also thinking about people's body and the logistics of how they move when they're cleaning. Microfiber cloths. Very interested, but I'm not sure if you realise, actually, this was an amazing cloth. Not only does it give a fantastic finish, it also removes bacteria without using a chemical. And also, if you are allergic to chemicals, then you don't need to use that when you're using this cloth. So that's a really good cloth to use. And it's also quite cost effective instead of using paper towels, etc. So the microfiber cloth was quite a good invention. We also talk about green practices as well, and most guests now are very used to the green side of things. And I think even with us at home, we all know about being green at home as well as at work. And a lot of industries now want a green programme in place. Even the Royal Household at the moment is, when we go to a new supplier, we're asking what their green footprint is and what are they doing to give back to society, etc. However, as a guest coming into a hotel, whilst you know it's there in your back of your mind, you actually don't want to have an added cost to your room. So we're always thinking of ways of being green without adding cost. And so that may be, don't change your bed today, leave your towel, etc. Which it depends on what you're going to the hotel for, whether it's a luxury and you want to have your bed changed all the time. So it's a real balance at the moment between hotels and the guest and the guest experience. The internet as well has also been a huge platform for housekeepers and moving us on, and it's showing us all the benefits around cleaning, all the technology that's out there as well, and helping us to find better ways to improve productivity as well with it along the way. This is something that's quite interesting. Although housekeeping at the moment aren't using it, I think it'll be coming our way very quickly. Basically, this electrolysed water is used mainly in kitchens because it sanitises vegetables and fruit, etc. But there is talk about using them in sort of spray bottles when you're cleaning bathrooms to sanitise bathrooms, etc. Again, getting away the use of using chemicals. Something that I'm quite dear to my heart, and I'm sure all of you never give it a thought when you go to a hotel and you get the little shampoo bottles and the little bits of soap, what actually happens to that. Many, many years ago when I was a floor housekeeper in the evening, that's where I spent tipping all my little bottles. And it's actually, if you think about it now, it's quite disgusting, isn't it? But 30 years ago is what I did in the evening. Now, all we do is we throw it all away because nobody sanitises it, no one reuses it, it doesn't even get recycled, so it's quite shocking. And in America, there is schemes in how to recycle this, but not in the UK until now. And I've just met a new company called Clean Conscious, and they're a charity organisation, only based quite local to here in Holyhead, and they've got volunteers that come in and they collect the soap from you and your old shampoos and body washes, and then they have a team of volunteers who actually get the soap and grind it and make it into noodles. sounds a bit bizarre. They then package it all up and they send it over to India, where they're then using. There's a group of ladies that are disadvantaged, and with them and their children, then they use it then for themselves. So actually, this soap is getting recycled. So it's a really good way, and it's something that's incentive that I've just introduced actually into the castle, because we have lots of soap. We only use soap once, and generally they're quite big bars of soap, and it's quite sickening actually to see all this soap being piled up and just being thrown away. So now that's a good incentive, and this is something the Housekeeping Association is really going to get behind, because I think a lot of hotels throughout the country could be using this. The future of the guest room. And that, again, as a housekeeper, looking at the future of the room, whilst from a guest point of view is amazing, we started to look at how the impact that has on the guests, on the people that are working for the hotel. But at the moment, they're looking at smart mirrors, with the touchscreen capabilities, which is quite interesting. And the last thing I heard, they're talking about putting little mini gyms in bedrooms. So they're definitely trying to keep you active and fit, which I thought was quite amusing. Not everyone really wants to go to a hotel and be in a gym, but I suppose they're looking at their market anyway. The future as well as the guest bathroom. I'm not sure if everyone realised the bathrooms played a big part in the guest experience, and they're looking at making the bathroom actually 50% bigger now, actually bigger than your bedroom, because they're saying that's a better experience, and looking at all the way that you can watch the TV in the bath, the way your mirrors are angled, and again, that's quite interesting, and that's something that's happening in the next sort of 2 to 5 years. This is the last part that I thought the people in this audience may not have ever seen. And this is technology that's been introduced, not to all hotels, but there's a large group of hotels at the moment that has taken this on. And with an iPad, they have a central hub that's linked to the reception desk. And what happens is we start to talk in real time. So a housekeeper and a room attendant will have an iPhone or an iPad, and when a guest checks out, that information is relayed onto, and if I click through it goes through onto their little iPhone, and it tells them that the guest has checked out. It tells them if you've got a do not disturb on the door, and it also means that the manager can monitor the room attendant's whereabouts as they're working. If I flick over to the next screen, this can be an advantage or a disadvantage. It depends on which part of the seat you're sat in. For a room attendant, it's probably a disadvantage because actually he or she is being timed as they're cleaning the room. And as we all know, not everyone's as tidy as the last guest, so some rooms take longer. But they're being timed, and then they know how long that room gets to take. And that means a manager can also know his costs at the end of the day. So a manager is really pleased on this, is helping him. And then reception are also really pleased because it means instantly they know when a room is being cleaned and how long it will then take for a housekeeper to check. For then, when the guest arrives, they can then say, guess, well, actually the room's only going to be 10 minutes rather than, hang on, I'm going to phone the housekeeper, and the housekeeper then goes to the room attendant, and the room attendant's then still vacuuming. So this all works in real time. And so for anyone that doesn't know behind the scenes, I thought this was quite an interesting bit to share with you today. And obviously all these electronic devices all add benefits. They looked at reducing labour costs for us. They also save time and paper. When I began as a housekeeper, everything was done on paper, and when you're converting 600 rooms to 30 room attendant sheets, it obviously, as you can appreciate, takes quite a lot of time. And also I think from a guest point of view, it means it's instant, and they actually can be in their rooms quicker than waiting for the telephone conversations to happen. And we also think that it empowers staff as well to turn the rooms around quicker because they know they're being monitored. So let's watch this space, and hopefully next time I speak I'll be able to tell you if it actually works. The last thing I wanted to talk about really, whilst we've got all these devices happening and we're looking at the green side of things and we're looking at the smart iPhone and we're talking about productivity, I think the main thing really is to talk about our team and making sure that actually we don't forget it's all about people, and technology can't replace people, and to make sure our people have fun. Thank you.